Everyone. Today we're going to do our math, and you are going to need to take out your math books, and we are going to look on page 327. Okay, we are going to skip over a few lessons at the beginning of chapter 6, but you can go back and do those pages on your own if you would like to. They're just kind of some review pages anyway. And we are going to take a look at some word problems here on page 327. Okay, so we want to think about when we read a word problem, we want to decide what do we know in the problem and what is it that we want to find out. Okay, so let's take a look at problem number 1. It says Mrs. Ruth makes a display of plant and fish fossils for the library. She puts in 478 plant fossils. She puts in 67 fish fossils. How many fossils are in the display? So when we think about that problem, what information do we know already? We know that she is putting some fossils in the library. We know that she's putting in some plant fossils and she's putting in some fish fossils. It says she put in 478 plant ones and 67 fish fossils. So let's make a drawing to help us answer the problem. So we might want to make a math mountain. So let's make a math mountain for this problem. Okay. All right. So do we know how many fossils that she put in the display altogether? No. So that's going to be my unknown. So my box goes at the top. Okay, so my problem says that she put in 478 plant fossils and 67 fish fossils. All right, so when we look at this math mountain, boys and girls, what do you think we need to do? Are we going to add or subtract to find our answer? We want to find the total, so that means that we are going to add together. All right, I'm just going to try to make my camera a little higher there. Okay, so we're going to add together. So let's make our equation. Since my numbers are bigger, I'm going to go ahead and make my equation in a vertical form. So I'm going to put the bigger number on top. So 478 plus 67. This is only a 2-digit number. So my 6 needs to be under the 7 and the 7 needs to be under the 8. You need to make sure to line them up properly. If you don't put them in the right spot, you're going to be off in your adding. Okay, so we've done problems like this before. So let's go ahead and we're going to add together my ones. We always start in the ones. So 8 plus 7 gives me, 8 and 7 are close to each other. I could do my doubles fact. So I'm going to double my 7, and that gives me 14, and 8 is one more, so then my answer is 15. So I put down a 5. I'm going to make a new group. So I put it above the 7. Now I'm going to add 1 plus 7 plus 6. Okay, well, I'm going to add together the 6 and the 1 because that's going to give me 7. And 7 plus 7 gives me 14. So I put down my 4 and make a new group in my hundreds place now. So 4 plus 1 gives me 5. So the answer to the problem is 545 what? Fossils. So you want to record that on your answer line underneath number 1. Okay? All right, and remember at any time, stop the video if you need to get caught up. Okay? All right, now let's try number 2. Okay? It says the members of the Nature Club planted pine and birch trees this year. There were 496 birch trees planted and 283 pine trees planted. How many pine and birch trees were planted in all? So when we think about the problem, it's talking about planting trees. They planted birch and they planted pine trees. Okay, and we want to know how many trees they planted all together. All right, so are we going to add or subtract? We are going to add. So we're going to add our numbers together to find our answer. Okay, so let's write 496. That was the birch trees. And 283. We are going to be adding together two 3-digit numbers. But the rules don't change. We use the same strategies that we did when we added 2-digit numbers. All we're doing is adding just an extra place. Okay, so we've talked about these strategies before. So all you have to do is just use what we remember from those strategies and apply it to this problem. Okay, so let's add our ones together. I have 6 plus 3. 6 plus 3 gives me 9. Good. Now let's add the tens. I don't have to make a new group. Now let's add the tens. 9 plus 8. If I think about doubling 8, that's 16. 9 is one more, so that is 17. Put down a 7, and I have to make a new group. Now let's add the hundreds together. 4 plus 2 is 6, plus 1 more is 5. So my answer is, oops, sorry, not 5, 7. Sorry about that. 779 trees. Good job. I subtracted the 1. I didn't mean to subtract it. I should have added it. Okay. All right, let's try number 3. Number 3. There are 818 ducks entered in the Rubber Duck River Race. Then 182 more are added. How many ducks are in the race now? All right. So my problem's talking about ducks that are entered in this race. And the beginning of the problem, there were 818 entered and 182 more were entered. We want to know how many are in the race now. So we want to, do you think we're adding or subtracting in this problem? Right? We are going to add again. So we're going to add the ducks that were at the beginning, and we're going to add the ones that joined. So we had 818 that started. We added 182. Okay, now let's add them together. Add your ones together first. 8 plus 2 gives me, that's right, 10. Put down a 0, and I'm going to make a new group above in my tens place. 1 plus 1 is 2. 2 plus 8 is 10 again. So I put down a 0, make a new group above. 1 plus 8 is 9, plus 1 more is 10. Put down a 0. I'm going to make another new group. I'm making a new place. And 1 plus nothing equals 1. So my answer is what, boys and girls? 1,000 ducks. Okay, so we're adding another place. When we're adding a 3-digit number together, we might add another place, and we call that place the thousands. Okay? All right, good. Now let's look at problem number 4. Problem number 4 says there are 189 children at Camp Sunshine. There are 375 children at Camp Bluebird. How many children are there at the two camps? So we have children in two different camps, and we want to know how many children there are at both all together. So that means we're going to do what again? Right? We are going to add. So let's find out. Let's see. We had 375 or 189 children at Camp Sunshine. So let's put them on top. We're going to add the number from Bluebird, and that was 375. Okay. Now let's add them together. Let's add the ones. 9 plus 5. Well, remember 9 is really close to 10. I could take 1 away from 5, give it to 9. That leaves me with 4. So now I have 10 and 4 gives me 14. Put down a 4 and make a new group. 1 plus 8 gives me 9. Plus 7 is what? 16. Put down a 6. Make a new group in the hundreds place. 1 plus 1 is 2. Plus 3 gives me 5. So we have 564 children. Okay? So we're just adding here in our problem here. And we're just adding another place when we are doing three-digit addition. You might have to make a new group and make a new group in the thousands. Okay? So the strategies are exactly the same that we worked on earlier in the year when we did two-digit numbers. We're just adding an extra place. Okay? So if you turn to the next page, you will see that you have a page to practice some three-digit addition. So I would like you to do this by yourselves and just use the strategies that we've talked about and just practice adding these three-digit numbers together. Have a great day.